This is Hot Mic.
Hot Mic.
On the networks of WDAY.
WDAY.
Here's Dom Izzo. It's that time. An author.
Offensive production, number 1. Number 2. Forgot.
Golfer.
It'd be like going on a three-person best shot, and we were saying, Kolpack, you got to make a 25-footer every time. You wouldn't putt first. I'd have Tim putt first.
And one heck of a TV personality.
This game is for the Cooper Cup.
It's the Forum's Jeff Kolpack.
4! I should have yelled 2.
Our streaming numbers go through the roof when this guy joins us. I'm going to give him his ego a little boost here on a Monday morning. Everybody clicks in. What's going on?
I need to renegotiate my contract.
Yeah. Well, we got impending
Well,
sponsorship.
first I got to get a contract.
We got impending sponsorship coming for your segment. I'm just telling you right now. Oh,
Really?
yeah.
Oh.
People want to be attached to
Can
you.
you
So
tease?
that's all I can tell you right now, but it's coming pretty darn soon. So that's exciting. How was the weekend?
Basketball.
Really? No golf? Our guy Hoagie played pretty well this weekend.
Well, I guess I flipped back and forth.
And he got TV time. He was on TV all the time yesterday.
like consistently for the first time ever.
Greg McCullough messaged me like, wow, he got a post-round interview on Saturday. If he makes a couple putts, he's maybe in this thing because nobody ran away with it. Brian Harmon ended up winning it, but if Tom makes – he's played terribly in the front nine. I think he went out in 40. So
40
he
on Sunday.
Caught himself a chance to win it. But then at 18, he makes that putt. It's $250,000 more.
Yeah, I was asked to go, how would you have done on that putt? I would have got it halfway there and just rolled up in the fetal position from all the pressure. No, there's tough conditions. I mean,
yeah, they kept saying how cold it was, by the way. I was rolling my eyes at that. The wind was blowing. Yeah.
And it affected some other players. It's just, but, you know, in those situations, you just got to survive and get pars, and he just couldn't. His approaches were off.
Yeah.
You know, he'd hit a shot and look at his club. Did you say
I did
3 or 4 occasions?
I did. Yep.
Like just perplexed. He's looking at his club like, what was that?
I know you visited with him on your golf show a couple weeks ago, getting ready for, obviously, this week with the Masters, going back for a third time. He made the cut his first year, didn't make it in 2023. His game looks like it's, after what he did, the Players tied for third, here a tie for fifth. It looks like it's in good form for this week.
There's no reason that he can't win this. There really isn't. I mean, guys come out of nowhere in that tournament all the time. I mean, it's always maybe somebody unexpected, and why not him? Now he's putting. Okay, Augusta greens scare me. Augusta greens scare me, and his putting is okay at best. You know,
right now it is. It's going in a good. It's better. Times where it's not been great, but his ball striking has always been elite. Yep. Especially on the par threes. It's just dynamite.
And I don't think Augusta's tremendously long. They've made it as long as they possibly could.
Yep.
But it's not tremendously Bethpage black long, if you will. And so, and Tom hits it good. He's not Bryson good.
No, he's not bombing it out there.
But he hits it well enough to, you know, get a. And if the irons are on and the putter is okay, look out.
Look out. We'll see what happens there. You mentioned the basketball. So Saturday night, that people can lament about there was no Cinderella and how boring the tournament was. Those were 2 dynamite games Saturday night, the Final Four.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Right? I mean, those are the 4 best teams. Those were 2 great games.
I just, you know, the days of Oral Roberts making the Sweet 16 and Davidson and Maryland, Baltimore Shore, whatever that school,
County,
Baltimore County,
UMBC.
pulling it off. They're just gone, and I just don't know if you'll ever see that again in the portal world as we know it, as we live it, which is unfortunate because March Madness, by its very nature on the trademark, was that.
Yeah.
And now they're going. Now you're not seeing much madness, and I
no. But if you get the best teams to play each other, does that cancel it out? Like you want, and this is my argument when we had this a couple weeks ago. I would say, hey, do you want your best games when the most people are watching?
But keep in mind, Dom, we are mid-major. Okay, we are mid-major fans. We live in a mid-major world.
I'm not arguing
and now that world is gone from making a difference in the tournament.
No, well. It is making a difference a different way to see one of their best players like we did last year. Grant Nelson was Alabama's key piece and then making all the way to the title game last year. That's
not madness.
But that's what it's going to be for people in this area or people that cover mid-major teams. That's what it's going to be left with.
Yep.
That's it. Well, this guy, because you look at Florida's couple best guys, Clayton started Iona. He's their best player. That's what we have left. Is we have a tie now to the madness. We don't have a direct correlation with it.
And a tie to that is not madness. It's not.
I will tell you this. Watching the games on Saturday, they were dynamite. Both those games were great. I think tonight we'll have a good one, too.
No, that being said, I have Houston going all the way in my bracket.
Oh, well,
I have Houston beating Florida.
Well, there you go. Oh, well, there you
So
go.
I got
great
some
basketball mind.
I might be in the hunt in the one pool that I'm in every year. They don't update it until after
it's over.
It's over.
Well,
so,
but if you pick the winning team,
I got to be. There's two other people that picked Houston.
You got to be in the mix there. We had some basketball news yesterday. It was interesting. Jakari White is going to Virginia, which wasn't one of the 5 schools that his agent listed off.
Said,
so how much did Virginia end up paying him? That's the number I'd like to know.
Maybe somebody from Virginia saw his finals list and went, "Oh, how about this much?
Right, we can get this guy."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's the number I'd like to know.
Yes.
Because I know you wrote the story last week that the final 5 finalists, Houston was, of course, in the mix, and Jakari's he's going to play at in the ACC at Virginia next season.
Is he that good?
I think so.
Okay.
I do. I think part of that probably as well is maybe closer to home. He's a Florida kid, so Virginia not that far away.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe has a point to that, but I think he'll be good.
Cavaliers were 15 and 17 last year. They have Andrew Rhodey, who went from St. Thomas.
Did. Now he's at Wisconsin.
Oh, he went back?
Yes. I know. Rhodey is a Badger now. Yep, he's back in his home state.
God.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
So they traded one Summer League guy for another, basically. But, Rhodey was there the last 2 years, and now he's going to spend his final season in Wisconsin. I know, man. It's hard to keep track of. But that's the first of the guys that have left the Bison, of the preeminent guys. Pat Bath is going to play in the NSIC at Concordia St. Paul. We don't know on Derek Doucette. Brennan Watkins is going to be at Chattanooga, and then Jeremiah Burke is the other one. Those are the two that we don't know off the Bison men's basketball roster.
Yeah, and wherever they go, it's, I hope they find some playing time, I guess would be my hope.
The big shocker last week was on Jossie Schiller. What about in your radar, your orbit you heard? Because the reaction I got was stunned on this, and I could tell you, well, this had been in the works for a little bit, but talking with a few people close to her, that there were 40-some-odd schools that reached out to Schiller after she went in the portal.
Well, I think she obviously wanted to stay closer to home, and that was one factor. Yep. I think obviously the whole breakup of the team with the coach leaving, that probably had something to do with it. Players leaving, your best players are gone, and it's a shocker for those in the backyard of Grand Forks.
How does she fit in on this roster, knowing full well what the Bison bring back next year? How does that change the makeup?
Correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't think the Bison have had a really good point guard since Brooke Lamar. I'm just throwing that. I'm
because I guess you're saying Heaven wasn't a point guard. Hamlin was not a shoot guard, and Schulte was forced into that spot. Yeah, probably. I mean, just racking my brain. And Brooke graduated in 2014, 15.
Well,
10 years.
She was the one that beat South Dakota State.
She did. That was 2015, so that's 10 years ago. Yeah.
So maybe she'll fit that mold of their first real true good point guard.
It's one thing that Jory's been missing. Yep. I would agree with you totally on that. Just somebody to be on the ball and going to take over.
And let's call it like it is. I think the collective is working at NDSU.
Yep.
I think it worked for Avery Coonan. I think Jossie Schiller was part of the collective.
I mean,
if I were to guess.
And you were right, if Jory Collins is probably doing jumping jacks, that news was back-to-back last week, that Schiller was going to transfer to NDSU, and then Coonan came out and said, I'm coming back, which I don't think they were really worried about Avery leaving, but it's nice to have in the back pocket. And obviously, Avery, we had her on the show on Thursday, that the collective is certainly helping on that front, too.
I have to wonder if the collective went to some donors and said, you know what? We have a chance to get UND's best player. How much do you think that's worth to you?
And we have a chance to keep our best player. You remember our best player left last year? That, hey, you think you actually have a chance maybe to be in the conversation with South Dakota State? She's got to stay. You got to find a way to keep her.
And if the collective, I think, was last year what it is now, well, Elle Evans probably would have left anyway because she's from Illinois and she wanted to play down there. I don't think it was necessarily a money issue.
I don't know. She would. I think there was some financial point to that.
Oh,
too.
60,000
Yeah.
or 70,000 or whatever she got.
I think there's a financial point to that. But knowing that with Jossie Schiller on this, I'm interested to see how it works with a Marissa Frost and a Molly Lenz. Can they all?
Well, I think Lenz is a shooting guard.
Yeah.
Now she's got to be a little more accurate than
to
she was
make
her
the
last
shots.
games.
That's the thing, because watching the game against Troy, and that Troy team ended up finishing runner-up in the WNIT Buffalo one on Saturday. That's the element, Jeff, that I think they lacked all season, was a real lockdown scorer.
And Marissa Frost doesn't strike me as a true point guard in the sense. She's more of a slasher, cutter to the hoop, a little more of a playmaking type. I don't see her as being the one out front.
They're not done. I know they have at least a couple other scholarships out there.
They need one more inside player.
I agree with you. Maddie Bragg was one I know they were looking at from Northern State. She ended up going to Colorado State from Aberdeen. So that's kind of what they were in the mix for. But there's thousands of players out there. I'm interested to see what they go and
What is
add.
the women's portal at now? Do you have a number?
Oh, we're well over 1,200. I mean, we're well over that. Yeah, it's double what there was last year. That's just the going rate now, and the amount of money that's being exchanged on that is pretty high. But I'll leave you there because the last time you were for the Troy game, so we haven't had your back in. Just to that overarching theme of that was a great event. I think NDSU. I think there were some fans like, "Oh, why are they doing this?" I think they got their money's worth out of that.
It
Jeff.
goes to show you the fan base is still there
Absolutely
for women's
right.
basketball. It goes to show they're starving for postseason competition and to be in contention for a Summit title. It's still there. It just has been hiding in the weeds, I think. And they showed up okay this year. It wasn't like nobody showed up.
No. But can they keep that going now to next year?
The women's program has momentum. There's no doubt.
I agree.
They have momentum. Men's program needs to find some momentum after this offseason.
And then for the men, it's going to be literally year to year. It really will be. That's how it's going to be. Going back to your first point before we wrap up this segment, it is going to be on a year to year. What can you do for a 4-month span to try and make the NCAA basketball tournament? That's what it's going to be. There's no 2009 or 2014. Hey, we're building. We've got these guys that, hey, come their junior, senior year, they're going to be really good. That is dunzo.
I just don't know if I'd want to coach in this day and age of the.
It's tough.
Yeah,
it's really tough. I mean,
you can't take it personal.
No way.
If you're Dave, these players leaving, you can't. It's not like it's my fault.
Nope. And I know, and I'll say it. Matt Entz was personal early on in the portal. Like these guys leaving, that you just can't. You have to. It's a business now. You're going to see it whenever the house settlement becomes official. You can't do it anymore.
And the spring portal for football opens in 2 weeks.
A week from Wednesday, April 16th, next Wednesday. So,
and as far as we can tell, and looking at spring football, we believe nobody else is going to leave.
Yeah, a knock on wood on that. I mean, as much as you want to.
Well, impact player,
right?
I'm saying.
We'll see. Again, numbers out there.
I would totally
never know.
expect a 5th stringer, 4th stringer. I would totally expect. A player looking for playing time to find somewhere else. I would totally expect that.
Let's talk some football. We come back. We were up at Bison Spring Ball on Friday. We'll give our thoughts on the first 2 weeks and what we're seeing there. We'll do that on the other side of the break. Jeff Kolpack joining us here in studio. We're back on Hot Mic right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Back here with Jeff Kolpack. A couple emails coming in here. One, this is going back to our last point. Jeff, my worry about your points is the FCS mid-major level lifted us all up from the D2 level of coverage. It appears to me we are sliding backward in the overall value proposition of FCS mid-majors. Hard to argue that.
Yep.
That's where we're going at. Another one comes in. Kolpack, do you get a lawyer degree to follow everything going on with the house settlement? I know you didn't
pre-law.
I know you didn't get any pre-law
degree.
Pre-med.
On that.
Yeah. We're going to have that. It's resolute. Well, it could get signed. Apparently, it's not going to get signed off today, but the final meeting on it is today from the judge.
So my question, I need to find this out on if you opt in, the funds come from university funds, correct?
Correct.
$22 million?
Yep.
Are those public record?
I would imagine. Well, for public schools, I would imagine so.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
where they're coming from.
Be prepared if you're going opting in. Dom Izzo's of the world can do an open records request and ask, hey, what's the quarterback making? I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if anybody will find out.
I'm sure for some they're going to try and absolutely find out. Because that's the thing. The thing we've got at least to me, I won't speak for you. The question I've got the most over the last 3 years about NIL, well, what's so-and-so making? Like, well, I got an idea. I don't have an exact number for it. Like, how much was Gray Zabel making? It was probably high 5 figures, but I don't have an exact number. I'd love to know.
Yeah.
I think if we're getting closer to contracts, which I think we are, then those are public. You know exactly what, like with Anthony Edwards, what he makes, I know what that is. I'd like to know.
That would be Tim Polisick's greatest nightmare.
Oh God, that number is getting out, probably because he knows then the rates are going to go up for
and
everybody
because
else.
It creates a jealousy issue. It creates potentially.
I think potentially. I thought this initially, but I think for some teams, and I kind of roll my eyes with the culture world, but I think some teams could have that fracture. Absolutely. I think others like, oh, well, that guy's he deserves. He's our best player. He probably deserves to get paid $700,000 or whatever the number will be. I think it goes both ways there.
So you think eventually they'd assimilate into the world of professional sports where, well, I guess that's what he makes.
I think we're pretty close, aren't we not? We're there.
Yeah. But I mean mentally.
Yes.
For these kids.
I do.
And are they mature enough to handle it, though?
Some will be and some will not.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a black and white answer on that in terms of, yes, some are and some are not. I think it's going to differ depending on the person and the team there. Speaking of the team, we were up at Bison practice on Friday. I'll give you 2 guys that are going to be really hard to keep off the field this year. One is Miles Mitchell. You'll see it in our highlights here, number 28. I think it's going to be really interesting what Tim Polisick wants to decide to do with him at the running back spot, knowing he has the 4 games that he could use. By the way, that's Cole Payton wearing the purple jersey, which is the absolutely don't even look at me. The other is Silas Evans. And I know what they have at wide receiver, but Silas, the Colorado State transfer who came in,
That's him right there.
Yeah, August 25th or whatever last year, right before the Colorado game. I think he's got some ability, Jeff, to maybe be a playmaker, a wide receiver.
But they're really deep at receiver.
I know they
now.
are.
I mean,
and
that's
they're
where
good at
deep.
running back too.
I'll address first of all Miles Mitchell. You're kind of falling victim a little bit, Dom, to not seeing a recruit yet in full action. So
Yep.
I always pump the brakes a little bit. You tend to exaggerate and fall a little overboard on. Oh, this guy is the greatest thing ever.
I'm just telling you what I see.
What I see, and the guy in the purple jerseys, I see a guy in Cole Payton who's in command out there. He is the leader. There's no doubt about it. He's running the show, and he acts the part. He looks the part. I think he's playing the part in spring football. I'm talking about the leadership angle too.
Yep.
I mean, this guy has taken over as the guy, and that's obvious as you look at this team and they go through workouts.
You visited with Toby Anena, which is, I think, and I talked with him as well. I think he has the potential to be the guy on defense, but that's not a role that he's used to or accustomed to, being a leader guy. He's going to have to be that this year.
No, I may have overreacted when I call him a first-team All-American, but I still believe that. I think he looks the part. I think
he could be first-team All-Conference. I'll go there. I don't know about All-American.
This team's going to be the best team in the country. You should have All-Americans on that team.
You would think, but that's a stat-driven award. Those aren't given.
I know.
Kyle Emanuel had to have the best season in the history of the Bison, and he finally got All-American honors, and he won the Buck Buchanan. You know what I mean? Those aren't.
And they were injured that year.
Yeah.
But they're not that deep so far this year, so I think Toby Anena is going to get some time.
That's a spot, if you're keeping an eye on the Bison potentially adding guys, that I would look at that particular spot as defensive end.
Is Money Mitchell going to go early now? Where are we at with you and your assessment of him?
In terms of...
He's going to come out and go pro early. That's how...
No, but I think he could be the number 3 back. I do believe that. I don't think that's but that's the question is, and now I think Polisick has already answered this to me about not saving guys. If he thinks he can help, we're going to play him because we don't know how long he's going to be here anyway, right?
And that's the basketball model too, for sure.
Right.
I mean, look at Andy Stefanowicz this year. He played okay a little bit early, but it's like, you know what? If you can play at all, you're playing.
You're playing. There's no use in hanging on to him because you do not know how long you're going to have him for. And if they can help you win, they got to play.
And MSU Moorhead, I mean, they took the shirt off their guy,
Carson Johnson.
Yeah.
Transformed their season. And he's going to be a Division I player. When Berg Strasser gets the Denver job, he's going to go with him.
Is that a done deal yet?
It's pretty darn close from what I've been told. So that's something to keep an eye on there. to answer your point, I think Mitchell's got a chance. Xander Smith looks like, there's another guy. Depending on what Cole Payton was in the same boat in 2021.
I need to see Xander throw more.
But Cole got to play ahead of the guy from, who was the number 3 then? Because it was Quincy and Cam, and there was another one in front of Cole. But he ended up getting, remember, the reps in 4 games. Xander Smith, I think, will get the same opportunity this year because you know what you have in Peyton, you think. Nathan Hayes is certainly looking pretty good. Trey Drake is there as your number 3. I'm looking at, if there's opportunities when the games, if they're as good as you believe they're going to be, I would move Xander Smith.
Not
and get
convinced yet that he has the greatest arm strength in the world. Got to see more.
Okay. I'm just telling you what I've seen looks pretty good. Well, is there a position that's caught your eye on the other side? Say, okay, this is a spot they're going to have to add somebody or somebody's going to have to step up and play.
Well, I think linebacker looks pretty good.
Yep.
I think Enoch's an all-conference player.
I agree.
Nathaniel Staling, it's his time. He's 235.
Yep.
He's 235.
Yeah, Donovan Woolen on the other side.
And there's another guy.
I don't know how they're going to keep. I have no idea they're going to keep him because he just looks the part.
He's 6'4", 225.
Correct. To me, I'm looking at defensive end as a spot and tight end. Those are the 2 spots. I'm like, okay, where is the production going to come from here? Knowing Stuffle is gone, who's going to be? And you know what? Guy I point to is your guy, Reese Kessel. Another young guy. I know he hasn't done anything yet.
Yeah, moves well.
But Kessel's a guy, it'd be hard to keep him off the football field, I think, this coming fall. He's got the prototype size for it.
Can he get to 250? He's 6'5.5", right? Can he get to 250?
Do you have to be that? You be 235 and play that spot, can't you?
If you can be some vertical threat, yeah.
Which I think that's what they're looking for out of that because they have 8 blocking tight ends. Carson Williams, Finn Diggins, Caden Zenzen, they're all in the same mold. They need a guy who can get vertical. Kessel is the guy.
You haven't mentioned the offensive line yet.
I think they're in a good spot there. I got Polisic eye roll on Friday when I asked him about it, so I'm going to trust his gut on that.
I get that every couple of weeks.
Well, I'm trying
questionable questions.
Well, I'm trying to ask him about on the offensive line. I'm trying to measure it out, not do it every time. I would look though at a couple spots there, and the interior at right guard. Who's going to play that spot? Because I think the tackles are set. I think if Magan's healthy, he's going to be the right tackle, and Bo Johnson is your left tackle. And the right tackle spot with a left-handed quarterback suddenly is the new blindside guy.
Well, the good news, you're not opening at Colorado. You're opening at the Citadel.
Correct.
The Citadel.
Correct.
And gives you a chance to get some confidence and get going if they play well.
Devin Lockerby's a name I've heard as well. Lockerby now, and this is, you always hit on this, is in his 4th year in the program. He's a redshirt junior. So it's time for him to.
Oh, Tim put out the old challenge to him publicly right off the bat.
He said it on his press conference, and he said it on this show as well about Devin Lockerby, and it looks like he's responded to that challenge. So that's a guy to keep an eye on. He was an all-star in the state of Minnesota. So, he had a ton of pedigree coming out of high school to see if he could play at the Division I level.
I need Tim to come up to me and go, you need to find the next level in journalism.
Is that a way for you to
kind of
kick you out?
here? You've kind of plateaued here a little bit for the last 37 years.
Well, you're going on vacation later this week. It's a chance to refresh, and I expect when you come
the
back,
golf game, Dom.
Okay. When you come back, you'll be all ready to roll then, because when you get back, the portal will be open, and it'll be time to rock and roll. So let me know on that. Peter Anderson.
Yes.
So there you go. Thanks, Eric. So that was the other guy that was there. And Cole
where did he end up going? Division II somewhere.
I think Winona he went to. And Cole ended up playing ahead of him. That's what I'm thinking they'll do with Xander Smith. I believe that. They have an opportunity where the games get out of hand.
I'm not there yet.
They can put him in 4 games. All right. Have a great week. Enjoy your vacation. We'll see you in a couple weeks then, all right?
All right.
Jeff Kolpack joins us each and every Monday. When you be back, there'll be a sponsor with your segment. How about that?
God.
Huh?
How can I sleep at night?
Big time. We come back.
Is it a mattress company?
It's not. We come back. Oh, well, more Spuds fans are sleeping because they know Edina and Eden Prairie are coming to town. Kevin Feeney will join us about that and much more when we come back.